Well, yesterday we talked about pollen here in the Carolinas. And Chris, we could finally see some relief.
And you inspired this, Ben, because you asked.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
I do what I can.
Really, you just wanted to figure out, when do I actually spray off my porch, spray everything down, and not have to do it the next day?
Yeah, I was trying to get out of work.
You were
Yeah,
asking for a
understandable.
friend.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Remember?
that was for a friend.
Remember?
That wasn't you. My
Thank you
bad.
yes. I'm glad Lisa keeps us honest.
Well, first off, let's learn a little bit more about what that yellow pollen is. So this is actually pine pollen, and this is more visible than the other ones such as hardwoods because it's actually 2 to 3 times larger. So in millimeters, pine pollen is anywhere from 0.06 to 0.1. Oak pollen, barely can see it. 0.03. So it's much larger, so it's more visible. So that's number one. Our tree pollen, as far as how it affects us, I mean, I'm talking about the hardwoods, the oaks, the elms, all the above. When we're actually talking about allergies, it really isn't until about the middle of May that we see it rapidly drop off. But if we're talking about just the pine, just that yellow covering everything.
Yes.
I went to the Department of Environmental Quality, and they actually have a chart that measures the amount of grains per cubic meter, aka how covered everything is.
This is what you do in your spare time.
Yeah, this is what I do in my spare time.
I love this.
So Ben answered this question, so I looked into it. The peak, we already peaked, was April 7th. It usually winds down 1 to 2 weeks after the peak, so we're at the point that really, I would say, in the next week or so, you're not going to see a vast amount of yellow. You could have little spurts here and there, but things are now actively improving that we are at least past the peak as far as that yellow goes.
The takeaway is you could probably clean off your stuff next week and be good and not have to redo it again.
Maybe a week and a half if you
I
want
was
to put
going
it
to
off.
say I
Yeah.
might wait a little bit.
I'll wait because the expert tells me to wait. I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because it's usually peaks around late March into about the first 10 days of April that I was reading, and historically, that's where it has been. And even though we started a little bit earlier, it's usually always around that time.
Right.
So that's why you want to give it a little bit of time. So I think it's next week that we're pretty much done with it, but then you can still have some carrying in the air if you get about a week and a half too. I think we're good.
It's interesting to me that it's the pine pollen that has the biggest, or it is the biggest in size.
Yeah, but do not put away the allergy medicine.
Yes, that is still around.
That is very much
That's an
still
important
around.
distinction because we often conflate and confuse the two, and they're kind of different.
Yeah,
Right.
because what's bothering you in the nose, you can't see it. And we're actually going to see a lot more of, usually the oak tree is starting to flourish at this point, but at least it's not covering our cars. Now we know. We just
There's
raised our
that.
pollen IQ. Boom.